two brothers built one of the greatest empires in sports history. Then they spent the rest of their lives making sure it destroyed them both. If you're wearing Adidas or Puma right now, you're wearing the aftermath of a family war. 50 years. That's how long it lasted. 50 years of silence between two men who used to share a bed, a workshop, and a single bicycle rigged up to power their tools whenever the town's electricity failed. This is the story nobody tells you when you lace up your sneakers. And by the end of it, I want you to ask yourself a question. Because I think you already know someone in your own life this story is about to remind you of. Let's go back to the beginning. 1920s. A cramped laundry room in a small Bavarian town. No investors, no factory, just two brothers taking turns pedaling that bike so the machines upstairs would run for another hour. Adi Dassler was the quiet one, the obsessive one, the kind of man who could stare at a single shoe for 6 hours straight, taking it apart and putting it back together, chasing some improvement nobody else would ever notice. He didn't talk much. He didn't need to. His hands did the talking. Rudolf Dassler was the opposite. Loud. The kind of man who could sell ice to a snowstorm, who didn't care about the stitching, only the deal, and who spent his days shaking hands and getting their shoes onto the feet of anyone who mattered. For a while, that combination was magic. Two young men, barely out of their 20s, building something out of nothing in a town most of Germany couldn't find on a map. And in 1936, it paid off in a way neither of them could have scripted. Berlin, the Olympics, an American sprinter named Jesse Owens lacing up a pair of their spikes, tearing through the competition for 4 gold medals, in front of a regime obsessed with proving a very different point. Overnight, the Dassler name meant something. Orders came in from teams the brothers had never even met. Money started pouring in, faster than either of them had ever imagined it could. And here's the thing nobody warns you about. Money doesn't just build empires. It builds egos. And two massive egos under one roof do not stay peaceful for long, especially when that roof belongs to both of them. Because these brothers didn't just work together, they lived together. Same house, 2 wives, 2 sets of kids, all crammed into one mansion that was supposed to be a symbol of family unity and instead turned into something closer to a pressure cooker. You want to know where things really went toxic? It wasn't even the brothers at first. It was the wives. 2 women forced to share a kitchen and a life, each one convinced her husband was the real genius, and the other one was just riding his coattails. Every dinner became a silent battlefield over whose kids got the bigger room, whose name went first, whose photo made the company brochure. That resentment didn't stay in the dining room. It hardened year after year until neither brother could hear a criticism without his wife's voice already calling it a betrayal. By the time the war came, the 2 men barely needed an excuse to turn on each other. The war just handed them one. Picture this. Air raid sirens screaming over the town. Everyone scrambling into the family bomb shelter. Rudi gets there with his wife and kids and finds Adi and his wife already inside. And according to family accounts passed down for generations, Adi looks up at him and says one sentence: "The dirty bastards are back." He meant the American bombers overhead.
Keep moving!
At least that's what he always claimed. Rudi didn't believe that for 1 second. He was convinced his own brother was talking about him, about his family, that this was the moment the mask finally slipped. Was he right? Nobody knows for sure. The story has never been confirmed outside family lore. But it didn't matter, because a few months later, as American troops rolled into their town, Rudi was arrested, accused of ties to the Nazi Party, and thrown into a detention camp. interrogated and cut off completely from the business he'd spent his life building. And sitting there, with nothing to do but think, one thought took root in his mind and never left. His brother sold him out. He became convinced that Adi used the chaos of a collapsing country to eliminate his own sibling and take the company for himself. There's no hard proof either way, but Rudi didn't need proof. He had something more dangerous. He had certainty. And certainty, once it settles into a man's chest, is almost impossible to talk him out of. When Rudi finally came home, there was no fixing this. You cannot unring that bell. So they split everything, and it got ugly fast. Employees were forced to pick a side. Your neighbor, your cousin, your best friend since childhood. And the town supposedly earned a nickname because of it. Locals called it the town of bent necks, because before saying hello to a stranger, you looked down first, at their shoes, to know which brother they belonged to. Adi built his half on one side of the river running through town. Rudi took the other, and named his company from a nickname his friends had given him years earlier. Two factories, staring at each other across maybe 200 feet of water, close enough to see each other's lights on at night. The rivalry didn't stay quiet either. It followed both brothers onto the biggest stages in the world. In 1954, West Germany walked into the World Cup final as massive underdogs against Hungary, and Adi's shoes, fitted with screw-in studs that could be changed for wet weather, are still credited by many as giving the team an edge on a rain-soaked field that day. West Germany won. The press called it the Miracle of Bern. And somewhere across that river, Rudi had to watch his brother's name attached to a national legend, knowing his own company was still fighting for a fraction of that spotlight. The sons inherited the feud along with the factories. For decades, marrying into the wrong family was practically forbidden in Herzogenaurach. Children on one side of town were warned not to play with children on the other. And even now, generations later, some descendants of the Dassler family have admitted in interviews that crossing that river still feels strange to them, like stepping onto land that isn't quite yours to stand on. A grudge that started in a laundry room outlived both men who started it, and quietly wrote itself into the instincts of people who were never even alive to hear that sentence in the bomb shelter. Adi and Rudi never spoke again. Not once. Not at family funerals, not at town events, not even, according to locals, when they passed each other on the street like total strangers. They're buried in the same cemetery today. You can walk between their graves in under a minute, and yet they're positioned as far apart as that cemetery allows, 30 feet, maybe less, and somehow it feels like the widest distance on Earth.
Here's the part I actually want you to sit with. Adi and Rudi Dassler didn't lose their company. They didn't lose their money. They didn't even lose their fame. Both of their names are stitched onto more shoes today than almost any two men in history. What they lost was each other. And they lost it over a sentence neither one ever tried hard enough to just ask about. Neither brother ever sat the other down and said, "Did you mean what I think you meant?" They let one moment, one assumption, one wounded ego do 50 years of talking for them instead. So here's the advice, if you want to call it that. Whatever pride is costing you right now, a sibling you haven't called, a friend you stopped speaking to over something that felt massive at the time and probably wasn't, ask yourself if it's really worth what these two men lost. Because empires can be rebuilt. Money can be remade. But you don't get a second brother. You don't get a second version of the people who knew you before any of the success even started. So I'll leave you with the question instead of the answer. If you were in that bomb shelter and your brother said those words, would you have asked him what he meant?
Or would you have let the silence win too? Tell me in the comments.